Well, hello. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us again as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Well, it's time to rejoin the narrative account of King David's reign. The readings from Second Samuel and First Chronicles today, well, they're parallel. They're by no means duplicate, but they both cover the same basic material. And though they relate the same activities, they do so in a different order, actually, and with different details. So ideally, you would read them both. But if you're short on time, reading one or the other will give you the gist of what's going on. The Chronicles account is more detailed, and the Second Samuel account is, well, it's more concise, I guess would be the way to put it. The accounts make it clear that David is growing stronger as king. We're going to read about well a goodwill gesture from King Hiram of Tyre, which kind of points to this power that David is accumulating. The children born to King David in Jerusalem are our second topic that we'll be covering. Two conquests of David over the Philistines, our third topic, and then the moving of the ark from Kiriath to Jearim, I'm sorry, from Jearim to Jerusalem. The movement of the ark getting there is the fourth topic that we'll look at. So there's lessons and themes in each of these four items that we'll note here as we go along. So first, that David and Israel were becoming a force to be reckoned with is evidenced by this goodwill gesture of Tyre's new king, Hiram. King Hiram provided much of what was needed to build David's palace. Notice that King David clearly understood that God was prospering him for the benefit of the people of Israel, rather than for his own benefit, lest he become arrogant and proud, as a temptation surely would be. While in Jerusalem, David takes more wives. It's not really a surprise to us, but we should note a few things. Number one, it violates the command laid out by God in Deuteronomy 17, verse 17, for Israel's eventual kings, that they don't accumulate wives. Also, the passages speak of David's concubines and wives. Well, a concubine is a wife, but she's acquired without paying the bride price. I don't really know how that works, but that's the difference between what Scripture calls a concubine and a wife is that bride price. Now, it's probably more fruitful for us though to focus on the problems of having multiple wives. God instituted marriage with one man and one woman. Remember Adam and Eve. Lamech, a murderer written of in Genesis chapter 4. We read about that a long time ago. Genesis chapter 4, verses 19 to 24, appears to be the one who started the practice of polygamy. So, you've got your choice, I guess, of those who began practices. We're going to read briefly about two battles between the Israelites and the Philistines. Notice the similarities and the differences between those. Both battles were fought in the valley of Rephaim, and in both cases, David inquires of the Lord if he should meet the Philistines in battle and what tactics he should use. In one, God approved what appears to have been basically a frontal assault. In the other, God had David use some deception and an attack from the rear, an attack on God's signal. The point is this: King David knows that it is the Lord, not him, who is determined in the outcome of the battle. And he's willing to place himself fully into the Lord's hands and take the Lord's directions. Our final comments will be about moving the ark to Jerusalem. Now, all of Israel was assembled for this grand event, but for some reason, arrangements were made to move the ark in a wagon rather than by having the Levites carry it by two poles through the loops on the side of it as God had commanded. Well, there was a grand celebration as his ark made its way toward Jerusalem until suddenly the cart of the ark, the cart the ark was on, lurched, and one of the attendants, Uzzah, reached out to keep the ark from falling, and he died at the hand of God for touching the ark. David was angry with God for this. And at the same time, he was afraid to have the ark in Jerusalem. So the ark went, rather than Jerusalem, it went to the home of Obed Edom, rather than going to Jerusalem. Obed's home and family were blessed with the ark in their presence. And it became clear to King David that the problem wasn't the ark of God, but it was their own disobedience. So after David's house was completed in Jerusalem, he went once again to bring the ark into Jerusalem, only this time carrying it in the proper way. In joy, he danced in front of the ark as it made its way into Jerusalem, actually much to the disgust of his first wife, Michal. Michal, if you remember, was Saul's daughter. With the ark in a tent in Jerusalem, King David organized certain of the Levite families to care for it. Um, then he sang a song of thanks for it, and he dismissed the people to return to their homes, to return to their homes, except for the Levites who had been organized to care for it and lead worship before it on a regular basis, doing everything that the Lord had commanded that they do. And you'll notice that as time goes by, as we're reading, we'll read about Levites, priests who come into Jerusalem because it's their turn to do the assigned duties. All of this goes back to what we're reading about. What we're reading about here. Well, may God be with you and bless you. As always, I pray that your reading is helping you to learn, helping you to grow. Um, and I look forward to joining with you again the next time.